Hi, we're here today talking with Gibbons, CEO of Bennett Carroll Solicitors. How are you, Guy?
Good.
Now, we've got a lot of properties settling at the moment, but the scariest thing for some of us people is what happens if it doesn't settle?
Well, it's true that sometimes they don't. It's a numbers game, and out of several hundred, you'll always find a couple that don't go right. And there can be lots of reasons for that. Simple things like somebody's forgotten a document. A document's been incorrectly completed. The bank has lost something. Your financier does not turn up with the right checks. Your financier does not turn up, which is pretty rare, but it does happen. What happens then is two things. Firstly, at a superficial level, everybody scrambles to protect their interests. So there's a certain number of formal things that your solicitor needs to do to protect you in the event that the other side can't settle, or in the event that you have a problem. So everybody will do that, protect themselves and get themselves into the best position that they can be insofar as the law is concerned. And then the practicality will come. So obviously you've got people standing on footpaths with removal vans, you've got people standing at bank counters with checks and transfer documents. You've got people who have moved out of their property and don't have one to move into. And it's quite common to have a chain of 3, 4, 5, 6 properties where one sold to the other, who's bought from the other, who's sold to the other, and they're all contingent on each other. All these people have to have somewhere to stay. So generally what happens is that as a matter of formality, the completion is postponed to the following day or as soon as possible. It's quite common for things to be postponed even for a couple of hours while the whole is stitched up, and that just preserves the position. Your solicitor should always, during the course of your transaction, reserve for you the right to settle at any time on the day of completion. So even though your settlement might be booked for, say, 1 o'clock, if there's a problem, you should be able to settle at any time up until the close of business on that day. But let's say it's going to take a day to fix. So the parties will agree, usually, because everybody's got a problem usually in this situation. Parties will agree to postpone the settlement by, say, a day to fix up the problem, whatever it is. Sometimes the party who's not at fault will say, I want some penalty interest, I want something, I want some benefit. But it's not always the case. The other thing that is always a major subject of discussion is access. So all these people are standing on footpaths outside properties that they were expecting to buy that they haven't bought. And generally what happens is you have what's called a tenancy at will. It's effectively a license to stay in the property pending settlement on the basis that if for whatever reason the next day the settlement actually completely falls over and is irretrievable, that everybody moves out. It's not very ideal, and it certainly puts a dampener on what are probably going to be some fairly weary celebrations that night when you actually don't settle, you're in the property but it's not yours yet. But it is better than telling the removalists he's got to go somewhere and be back the next day. And as I said, it is a numbers game, and over many hundreds of transactions, you will find one or two that don't actually go correctly, and sometimes it's not your fault. It's somebody who is on the other side of your matter, or it's your financier, or it might be somebody in the chain of transactions that's caused the problem. So it's not always something that you have control over, which is frustrating, but the practicalities of it usually get worked out.
Okay, well, if we finally get to settlement, we've finally got that house, what happens next?
Okay, well, your solicitor will ring and will say, okay, it's done. That generally is your signal to race down to the agent who's got your set of keys. He'll want a fax, usually, from both parties to say, yes, it's settled, because he doesn't want to be accused of giving you the keys when it hasn't settled. And then, essentially, it's unpack, have a drink and collapse you.
Well, it sounds good to me. So if there's any other information that we need, where can we reach you?
Okay, well, you can ring us on 1300 334 566. You can go to our website, which is bcglaw.com. There's a heap of additional information on there. You can email us info@bcglaw.com. You can just go to the web where we have a YouTube channel and there's any good information there.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.